I thought I would go a little old school and do a full voiceover. So the first thing I'm going to do is add primer, and I'm using the Stay Matte primer from Rimmel, and it was kind of weird. It was kind of like a really thick moisturizer, it felt like, but I actually ended up really liking it. And then for foundation, I'm trying the Stay Matte from Rimmel, and I'm also mixing this Illuminating Glow from LA Girl Cosmetics. And this foundation, whoa, I was really surprised because it was like, it felt thick, it looked thick, but it didn't feel thick on the skin, and it was so full coverage. But it didn't even say that on the bottle. Like, it was really full coverage. And again, I was really surprised by this foundation. It worked really well. I really liked it. I think it was a little bit light for me, but it worked really well. I really liked it. I don't remember the color I'm using, but I will have everything and all the details listed in the description box below, since I'm doing the voiceover and not really talking. And then for concealer, I need a good drugstore concealer. I haven't really found one yet. I'm using the Rimmel one again. This video isn't sponsored by them, by the way. I'm using that concealer, and I liked this one, but I kind of had to go over it twice because it's not as full coverage as I would like, but it is a nice formula. And I would like to find a really good drugstore concealer. And then to set the under eyes, I'm trying out this new LA Girl Pro Powder in Banana Yellow. It's a setting powder. I think everything except the concealer has pretty much been new so far that I'm trying out. And then just to set the rest of like certain parts of my face, like my smile lines, I'm using this CoverGirl powder, and I did not realize it kind of made my skin a little bit darker in the areas that I put it. It didn't look like that in person, but on camera you can totally tell it darkened up the area. For the eyes, I'm using as a primer the Lid Lockup from Covergirl, which is basically an eyelid primer, and I'm just going to apply that and then blend it out. And since I can't use my Sigma Persuade base, we're just going to move along. The palette I'm using today is only $7.99 and it's from JCat Beauty, and I actually really liked it. It's part of their Pocket Shadow collection from, I think they have like, I don't even know how many palettes they have, but I will have the name of this one listed below. So I'm going to start out with of course, the light orangish shade in the top, and I'm just going to blend that out as a transition shade. This is kind of optional since the color I'm going to use next is almost pretty much close to it, just a little bit deeper. And these colors, they are really pigmented. They blended out nicely, but they did have a lot of kickback, so make sure you tap off your brush beforehand or you're going to get a lot of fallout. But for $7.99, I think this palette was really good. And then I'm going to take the darker shade and just go into the crease a little bit further and just deepen that crease up a little bit. Then also from JCat Beauty, I'm going to take these 3D eye toppers. These are, I believe I had them in one of my favorites videos. These are amazing. I really love them. I'm not sure, again, I'm not sure what this one's called, but I'm just going to kind of cut that crease a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to add the liner just to kind of perfect that line a little bit. So I'm just using the brush, and then because the shadow was a little bit more of a like pinkier tone to it, I kind of went in with the shimmery like peach shadow from the palette, and went over it. And then I'm going to take the L'Oreal Infallible, I think they're called eye paints or something like that. And I'm just going to add that line. It's easy to make a straight line with these because they're super sharp and super thin. And they're really pigmented. I was surprised that the white was so pigmented. And then I'm just going to go in with the darker maroon color and kind of fill that in the outer corner and blend it out. And then, what am I going to do? Oh, on my lower lash line, I'm adding just the transition shade I used in the beginning, just blending that out. And then I added brown to my waterline. For the inner corner, I used the brightest shimmery shadow, and that was really pigmented too. I was really surprised by that. And then for eyeliner, I was also surprised. I tried out this new Covergirl eyeliner, and the brush itself is really thin, so it's easy to get, and it's really like flexible, so it's really easy to get a sharp line. It's not so great to fill in, but I was really surprised by this eyeliner, and it stayed on. I mean, I had a hard time getting it off even. The only thing I didn't like is that it was a little not shimmery, but it wasn't completely matte. And for lashes, I added these new Salon Perfect lashes, and I doubled them. And then for bronzer, I used this one from Milani. I'm not sure what it's called, but it has like 2 different colors in it, and I didn't just use one particular color. I kind of just mixed my brush into the whole thing, and I really felt like I needed to warm up my face, so I really kind of just did it pretty much everywhere. And the brush I'm using is actually from Benefit. I also ended up contouring my nose with that same bronzer, but I just used the darker side of the bronzer only just to contour my nose. For blush, I used a Morphe blush palette. I'm not exactly sure what the name is. I guess this is why it's better for me to actually talk while I'm doing the video instead of doing a voiceover. But it is the peach one. I will have everything listed in the description box below if you guys want to check that out. Honestly, I just wanted to sit there, listen to music, and do my makeup. I mean, it sounds crazy, but as a mom doing it on my own, sometimes even the simple things like that are hard to do. So I just wanted to listen to some music. So then I took the Model's Own liquid, glow drops, I think they're called. I wanted to do this right after I did my foundation before I powdered, but I forgot, and doing it after I powdered, it did not affect my makeup at all. So I applied those first, and then I went in with the J-Cat Beauty glow powder. And this one is one of my favorites, and I added that on top. But first I applied the Morphe setting spray, and then I added the highlighter just to give it something to stick to. And then I ended up going with the Covergirl liquid lipstick that I've used before because it's one of my favorite colors. And that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video.